Hello, hello, and welcome. I hope you all can hear me okay. I can hear myself all right. All right, good, cool. My name's Summer. I'm the community artist here at Dot Big Bang, which is a free in-browser voxel art game engine. And this year, for I believe the third year, we are also sponsoring the world's biggest game jam, Global Game Jam. We're pretty excited about it, and, so excited, in fact, that we wanted to do some, micro jamming in the lead up to the big jam, just to give everyone a chance to get familiar with Topic Bang and see if they want to make their game jam game using it. So, yesterday, if you, were tuning in over on our YouTube or over on twitch.tv/.bigbang, you probably caught Zaz, who was making a code-free game, which was the start of our micro jam week. And, I'll just drop that here in the chat for anybody that wants to, like, revisit the VOD, because it's very handy info for anyone that's, curious about making a game using no coding at all. And today we wanted to go into the voxel object editor and just explore making some voxel art together in like a 2D, 2.5D, 3D space, and just get real familiar with all that. Um, so yeah, you can join me here in this makerspace where I'll be keeping all of our um, art here. Let me just get a little multiplayer link, and to do that, in my game here in Dot Big Bang that I've made, this little makerspace game, I'm going to drop a little addition to the URL. I'm going to go question mark MP equals, and whatever our multiplayer session will be, I'm going to say global game jam typing, and copy that link and drop that as well in the chat over here. There you go. And anyone can come and join me into this multiplayer editing link right here in the browser, whether you have an account or not, and we can check out some of what we have planned for the day. Oh, I hope this, I just set up this new little bit of key viz here right above my avatar. I hope it's not like over spamming the screen, but I thought it'd be helpful to have because I use a lot of hotkeys when I'm making stuff and don't want anyone to get lost or left behind. Okay, well, I've got a little bit of a setup here, which is the, I thought today we could make a couple of voxel object heads, like maybe we can make it of ourselves or a mascot creature or anything we'd like to make. And I'll just write that here over the whiteboard so I don't lose track of what I'm doing. We're making voxel objects we can wear. Scale that down a little bit and save it. So I have already the start of something, the start of a little idea. But we can go over here into the create an object, and this will take us right into Voxel Object Editor, and we can get started. Oh, it sends you straight home. Oh, that's interesting. Sends you to the Big Bang home. Let's go back and see if I did something funny with that game link. Oh, I bet that might have something to do with it. I should probably publish the game before I do this, huh? Okay, game is published. Question mark MP equals game jam type, and I'm going to copy that. Equals. There we go. And I'll paste that here again. This one should work. Fingers crossed. And while I let people try that out, I will go over here while y'all are exploring that. and make an object. I'll start out with a blank slate here. And if this is your first time looking at the Voxel Object Editor, welcome to the thing that I look at all day, every day. Oh, someone says wait. So it worked or it did not work? We can come back and control as is here, but I don't see. I have left the game to go into the Voxel Object Editor. But if you'd like to take a look around the space, or you can even, here, I'll jump back one more time, and I'll show you how to grab a remix of it in case you'd like. So returning to the game here, you can see invite or remix, I think was here. Going into play. I guess I can't see the remix link because it's my own game, huh? But if you're going into, let's say, any game that's remixable, we can go in here and I'll show you how to do it. Let's just grab a, maybe this one's not set to remixable either. Oh, I'm getting so distracted. I'm not going to let myself get too distracted because the goal here is making, oh, hey, welcome, Julia Plays. Welcome, welcome. But yes, the goal for today was to make an object. So let's just jump in and take a look around the Voxel Object Editor. Now, Julia, I know that you make good voxel art. I've seen your creations, so you're probably going to be a little bit bored while I just explore the scene a little bit. But over here, I'm just going to start with a base color of, I don't know, a nice minty green, just to start us out, and I'll close that up. And this is add and remove voxels. And they also have hotkeys. You don't have to come over here and press them all the time. They have hotkeys by letter, or you can check out over here, keyboard shortcuts, and you can use the number pad if you'd like. I typically do. So over here, I'm just going to start adding some voxels. Nice little bit of voxels we've got. And I'll drop a mirror in. This makes it so that whenever I add to one side, it adds to the other. Easy peasy. So I'm going to add the start of a shape. So starting off with this little plus sign here, which is going to act as our object's origin or the basis of rotation for our object once we get it into a game. I'm going to just start adding some voxels around here. And using this, I'll take a little bit away. And now I can start adding like extrusions, like a little bit of face. And I'll just start clicking on any face I want to extrude from, which right now I just want to go vertically. Just like that. And if I really wanted to like rush through this, I could just say, here we have a face. And that's it. It's the fastest face I've ever made. But I think we can do a little bit more. So I'm just going to sample that color with the E key and get rid of that. So if I use the select tool, I can grab and move things around in the space here, and that's right over here. I can just take any selection, and let's turn the mirror off to start this out so I can display this a little bit better. But yeah, you can grab with the mirror and move things around any way you'd like. You can click on these little yellow faces to move them on 2 axes at a time, or the 1 arrow to move it just in one direction. And if you've seen us before last year, then you probably are seeing a couple of new things. namely this little gizmo up here, which really helps me every time I want to get a selection. I can click here just to turn this into a more orthographic mode, and I can click any of these axis handles to quickly jump around to any face that I want. So if this were like the front face, I can tap blue here to be facing it from the front, can tap the same handle again, and now we're looking at the back of the head. And just for, I'm not sure if I said this yet, right click helps you turn things around, middle click helps you kind of pan around like this. You can control right click to kind of control your pan in and out, or you can just use the scroll wheel. Let me grab this color and turn my mirror back on. And with all that said, we can start actually modeling a little bit more of what our avatar head is going to be. And you can see that like where the object origin is this like plane that I keep drawing directly onto. And if I were really making something like a skull, right, then you would want to have the chin be just a little bit beneath, right? You would want to go, because this is where like the base of the neck would be, right? Something like this. And this is where you would want the rotation to be, right here on this ground plane. But if I'm trying to work at it from any other angle, then this ground plane can start to get in my way. So what I'll do here is I'm going to go over to this, and this is the ground plane, and I'm just going to turn it off. So now whenever I try to click randomly out here, I'm not dropping voxels down, and I can freely turn around and access my model any way I'm looking at it. So I'm starting to get a little tired of the minty green look. It's really not selling that I'm trying to make like an avatar face. So I'm just going to get something a little more, I don't know. I don't know if I want like flesh tone yet because I'm not committed to whether I want to make a human or something fantastical. So I'm gonna just make this a little kind of a skin color. I'm not super attached to it yet. Just to be sure that I keep it in case I'm going to add up here under colors. We now have palettes here. By default, it will show you the complementary colors of anything you want. But you can also keep track of your own over here. So you can see any of your palettes here, and I've made a bunch. I make a bunch every time I'm working. You can add a new color set, and that's what we've just done here, and rename it. I'll say like voxel head. And that's done. And with our color selected, you can put that here. And even if I accidentally turn it neon green again, I can get right back to where I was. Hello, Angel. Welcome, welcome. Right now, we're just exploring the voxel object editor and getting familiar with everything in the scene while we start to model what will probably be a little voxel object head. Just going to snap the camera here while I make some selections and start making this the scale that I actually want it to be. I'm going to add some faces here in the middle, snap it back to center. I'm going to grab this bit of selection, and I'm going to extrude it, and whoa, would you look at that? Oh my goodness. It moved away in 2 directions at once. That is the mirror behaving in a way that I could only wish so many 3D software would do, which is pulling towards and away from the center pretty precisely. And it also collapses into itself. Okay, so we've got a little bit more of a jaw going on. I'm gonna go with this sort of flat-faced look because it makes it easier to um, draw a face onto with a good amount of detail. And let's give him some ears to start. That's close. A little bit more of that. Maybe we can trim that up a little bit. That seems kind of neat. And maybe the bottom of the jaw could come down another voxel or two. That seems good. Am I building a head? Yep, we are building a head. In recent days, there have been many streamings. I like this. I'm glad. Feel free to follow along. And if you start making what I'm making here or any kind of voxel object head that you want to make, I'll pull it into our little makerspace game at the end, and we can all show off our voxel object creations to each other and just sort of immortalize them over there. I'm just going to take a little bit away from these corners, and this just helps round out the shape a little. That seems nice. Seems nice. And all that done, give them a little nose. And this kind of helps me see how much space I've given myself for the eyes. Let's start with the whites of the eyes. I'm just going over to the paintbrush here, or the 5 key. And let's give them, ooh, that's scary. It's going to be scary for a second until we give them like, you know, ta-da! No, it's not so scary. I'm going to take this skin tone that we have and let's just make it a little bit more darker and a little more saturated. And right underneath the origin here, this natural sort of lip color that could be a little pinker. There we go. Very, very, very neutral face. And I think this person does not need to be as bald as they currently are. So let's actually, before we give them some hair, let's give ourselves a little bit more space to model some expression on this character, because at the moment I just don't think that there's a lot of room to draw eyebrows out to the side of the eyes. So over here with the face tool, there's this interesting thing we can do where if we are just extruding, it seems to grab by this color alone. So it's only extruding a face along that one color. And that's sometimes nice, but sometimes I kind of want the skin to kind of go over here too, right? On the opposite side of the eye. So to do that, I'm just going to hold Shift and with the face tool selected, hold Shift, and there we go. Now, regardless of color, our face gets a little bit whiter. And let's just give them a little bit of a neutral bit like that. And that helps me see that we do not have enough forehead space. Gotta have a bit of a forehead above those eyebrows before we start adding hair. So holding Shift key again, adding a face. There we go. I think we can start adding out a little bit more down here. And I'm doing a real, if my VTuber's eyes are like shut, it's probably because I do a lot of squinting. I think doing voxel art requires a little bit of a squint and a, is this tall enough? Is this close enough? Does this look round enough? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And now that we've added so much to the top and bottom here, it only makes sense that we add a little bit more to the back of the head. So I'm grabbing here, and I think that'll be maybe one voxel too far. No, no. 3 voxels. Just like that. Just gonna round off a little bit more of the back of the head. And maybe add a little bit more of a jawline here. So this doesn't look like it just becomes an absolute L. You kind of want to round out these little shapes. Would love to see your avatar with a squint animation added to its repertoire. I do a lot of squints. I should have done that by now. I could totally add that. Based on what we might do here today, I might even change my head to this head and make a whole VTuber based off of it. But right now, it still needs a little something. So we've given them, I think, enough space for face. Make those ears a little bigger. And maybe it'll come down to the nose. Round that out a little bit. Maybe a little less. That might do for now. We're probably going to cover that part with hair, so I'm not too obsessed. I think that cheek is going a little bit low. Bring it up a little bit more. Now he's got these very gaunt cheeks. That'll be okay. So let's add some personality. And personality is going to start with the hair. What kind of hair color I want to go with, I'm not even sure yet. What? Wait, what am I kidding? I love pink hair. I love pink hair and I can't have it in reality. So we're going to have it here. We could add this over to the top, or we could paint it in. Some areas are probably going to be better to paint, and some are going to be better to add and extrude. Would a hat work for the theme? It absolutely would. But hair before the hat. For me, at least. I'm going to take the mirror off while I explore a little bit of the hair shapes that I want to do. I'm not too sure yet, but I do want it to have a little bit of asymmetry regardless of what I do. That should do. Maybe we can go like full on anime bangs, right? And if we do that, I want to lift it up and away a lot more and just add to the pointiness of this hair. Get a little swoosh even. Seems nice. I love a good bang swoosh. Yep, there's a little bit of a swooshing going on. And this one I'm going to do a little bit less, as one of them with bangs that are parted tends to be one side is always like the dominant bang and the other one kind of doesn't fall to the wayside, but doesn't have as much going on, you know? Oh, let me grab that color. There we are. We got the start of our anime hair. Let's just add a little bit around the back here. And this part we can probably do symmetrically, so I'll turn this back on. So we have a bit more here at the back, starting to bring it down behind the ear, and maybe like a ponytail or something. There we go. And hopefully I'm doing all of this using the tools we've already just talked about here. Bit of a short ponytail, but we can probably bring this back up and into the head a little bit. Maybe not that far. Maybe like there. Would you look at that? Pink ponytails for the girl that can't have pink hair or long hair. I have very short hair, I've always had. So this is more of like what I wish I could do. Well, I didn't mean to extrude that. Just wanted to paint up a little bit the side there. And they're looking very neutral. But we have the base of what we're looking for. I'm going to center up the camera and open this 3 dots up here, which is where we can save the object details. I'll give them a name, and it'd be voxel object head. I don't even need to put that there. Pink hair head. Pink hair. And over here you'll see like the permissions. So if this object is published, everyone can see it. If it's usable by others, people can drag it into their game and set it up, and maybe they can wear it. If it's remixable, then that means they can save a copy of this head, and then they can change the color from pink to green. Maybe they've always wanted green hair or anything like that, and save it. And I'm just going to take a thumbnail here. That seems okay. Thumbnail, our little face, and we're going to save it. There we go. Now I won't lose that work. I'm just going to add a couple of these colors down to our palette before I start doing some experimenting. Because now I think we need to add more personality. They have eyes, they have a face. It is a head, but there's not a lot of personality yet. So let's make these dark eyes a little bit darker and start a little bit more eyebrows, or maybe like a darker cherry-ish kind of thing. And I will turn their eyes, maybe some fun color of green. That seems all right, but could be a little bit more. What if I gave them a little bit more space? And maybe even a bit of an eyebrow. Now they're a sleepy face. There you go. Was that like 5 voxels? Changes the emotion so much. And you can do a few experiments with this. Like maybe I don't want the eyebrows to be all up against the eyelashes here, so I'll pull them out to the side. What if they're like, what did you just say? You can add a little bit of a lift into the eyebrows. If they're angry, you know, do a little bit of that and a little bit less of that. Look at them, so mad. Just experiment with the emotions of it. I think I want to give them a little bit more space. And here I'm going to turn the mirror off for a second because I want to have like a little bit of shine in the eye, right? There. a little bit of a shine in the eye. For our ponytailed person. I don't know what kind of like lip situation I want exactly. It could be like lazy, happy kind of expression, or I could add a little bit more to the bottom. I could probably give them more room between here and the nose to add a little bit more of that. And this way, if we animate them like talking, and we have all this space to put like teeth or the, I don't know, the interior of the mouth, blah, 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 and have the lip color. I'm just estimating that this might be something close to our lip color. Could be here. Ta-da! If you want like a full lipstick, you can add it to the top again there. I'm really just making sure that we have enough room to animate, because you can animate your object right here in this editor. And I want to make sure we have enough space here and here to do that. Just going to make sure I correct a little color back here. And what if I want some kind of like fantastical ears? I'm not sure, but I kind of think we could have, I don't know, like elf ears, or they could come out from the head shape a little, and that would really help them stand out. Very pointy, pointy ears. I'm squinting right now because I want to check the silhouette of this face, because right now this kind of makes it look like the head shape goes all the way out wide for some reason before it reaches the hair, if you look at it head on, and we don't really want that to happen. So I'm just going to reintroduce a little bit of a gap so that it's a little bit more apparent. These are ears and not like an extended cranium situation. But in that case, with so little voxel coming out to the side there, I might just bring it back in about this far. Don't want to fuss with it for too long. Tell you what, we'll leave it be. I'm gonna let it live like this for a little bit. But much like before, I don't want it to be all up in the hairline, making you think that the cranium is getting too huge. That should do. And I'll give this a save. I think Julia was talking about a hat. So let's see. Do I want them to have a hat or a bonnet? Not bonnet, like a hair tie. I think I'll get kind of hair tie going here. I'm just going to grab. Oh, this is an important moment to point out. Like, you can double click to grab anything of connected color, but you can Control Shift, double click to say this shape is not a connected color to that shape. So if I double click, it just grabs this one eyebrow, right? If I Control Shift, double click, that now I've grabbed every instance throughout the voxel object of that color. It's just handy to know. So if I just double click real quick, I've grabbed all of that, and I'm going to control click to add to my selection this little bit of hair and pull it away from the model just a little bit. That seems all right for now. Get rid of that. With that color selected, I'm just gonna turn my mirror back on probably and take that out. And we have a little hair tie. Maybe we could up our game here and add also a little bit of a little hair band. I could probably make that come one voxel out all the way around. There we go. I'm kind of growing attached to this look now. A little weird. Most of the art that I do on stream tends to wind up a little bit weird in one angle or another. I think that's kind of neat though. I wonder if I gave them some kind of fantastical element. If it's not elf ears, what could it be? Maybe even like horns. No, that looks like a certain anime character. Nope. What if they were like an orc character with pink hair? I'm gonna go with like an orky kind of green. I just find that pink and green does this kind of color satisfaction to me. Ooh, Zaz says horns or tentacles. Earrings. Ooh, earrings is a good one. And tentacles, but only if we're going like full mind flayer. And I'm not ready to go full mind flayer yet, because there already is a mind flayer head that you can pick in the avatar creator. And I really just want to do something a little different. All right, so we'll do this and we'll go with, I don't know, like a deeper nose color, maybe even where that eyebrow comes in. I'm not sure, that's turning into more of a mask, isn't it? They will have the highlight of the nose come down like that. And in that case, this becomes a little bit more unnatural. So I'll lean into the green and darker for this. And I could like do this one by one by one and replace the colors this way. Or under the bucket tool, you have also replace color. And what that, it's just going to find every instance of this color throughout the object and replace it. Bam. Real quick though. Yeah, just going to document that color for later in case I want to use it for the lips. And there we go. We've got our nice dark green. And maybe we kind of want the pink lipstick. I'm not sure. Like a girly orc. I kind of like this. Maybe I can go with the tusks. That's what I want. I figured it out. I figured out what I want now. I want a nice wide smile. Tusky smile. Yes. That's it. It's like a full grin going on. Maybe I can just, I'm not sure if I wanna do the top lip, and this is like, bit of a cartoonist trick. How much full or not so full coverage of the lipstick you give a character can be like, well, it's not what you would do in real life. Typically, if you do your lipstick, you do the bottom and the top, right? Or bottom, and then you kind of press your lips together and it becomes the top. But if you do it like both sides of the lip, it kind of becomes the overdone makeup look can kind of be sold that way in just cartoon language things. So we can do a natural sort of top lip, or we can just go with a full grin, real toothy grin. I like this. Okay, so if we go with the green, and do we also want green eyes? Or maybe we can get like sort of ambery yellow, something off of that green, but not exactly green. I don't want it to be lost against the white, so I'll just give it more saturation until it looks right. There we go. And this being pure bright white also makes me a little bit unhappy, so I'm just gonna add a little bit, take the value down and give it a little bit of a yellow saturation. And you see how immediately, I'm just gonna zoom in here so you get the sense of it. When you're using pure black and pure white, it's harder to render, shadows appropriately on that because it's not receiving shadows. It's purely positive value or no value, and it's hard for that to act off of. But if you add just a hint, and it's like this part where the light's hitting it seems almost exactly the same as this, right? But now all of a sudden you can see this little bit of shadow. Just that little bit of shadow adds so much, and it helps it kind of read better in any turn of the light. I'm bringing this down a little bit here. Maybe we can have this bottom tusks. I don't know. Do I want to do like a full top and bottom tusk, or is this as far as that goes? Maybe a little bit lost here. Yeah, it's a little bit too much going on. Maybe we could give us a little bit more room though. Right now we're working on perfect symmetry, which is as many to the left as to the right in an even number. But we can change that if we want to add a little bit more of a single line of detail. You see how if I add just one voxel here, it has to add it to the right, and I can't make this nose come to a point, like a single voxel point. So I'm just gonna go over here and move this mirror one down. And I'll turn it off for now while I make my selection. I'm going to grab half of the face. I'm going to move it to the left by one. So now our mirror is directly in the middle, and we have a single voxel of thickness here that we can. I'm going to press shift while I add a face. And now we can make things come to this nice, fine point, if I want to do that. And I do. I do want to do that. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of paint just to fix that little bit of hair. Got a little messed up there when we extruded. There we go. It's all back to normal. And now we have a little bit more face room to probably put the tusks down here. Maybe I don't need the nose to come to an exact point there. Like that. I like that. And now it also makes sense if I give them, like, a bit of a pointy ear like this. I am just gonna fuss with this ear the whole time. Don't have to do that. I'm choosing to do that. I'm fussy. All right. Maybe that'll do. That'll do. I'll just correct my little bit of hairband. I don't know if I want it to go like all the way down and around here. But it does kind of frame the ears up if I do. How about that? And we have, I don't know, they have those hair ties that kind of like go all the way down to the bottom and then you like tie a little knot like this, right? Mm. Or maybe it's more like out to the side. You have this little tie. Oh, wait. Oh, but that actually kind of does something cool. Okay, I didn't mean to do that, but now I kind of like the idea. All right. Okay, so if I did do that for realsies, I would probably make it a solid square. And I would bring it probably down one more. There we are. Okay, okay, okay. Cool. Now I can just sort of make that as much as I want. Do I want it to come to a point down there? Do I want to add a little bob of the hair tie out there? Very girlish orc. Just beveling and adding until it gets to this place I like the silhouette of. That'll do. Okay. Now, if I make the bow part of it, actually, you're gonna have to see that they're way too far apart to connect. And I don't want anyone to really pick up on that. So I'm gonna like leave that aside. And now if we do something weird, like add some piercings, maybe they don't have to be symmetrical even. Get a nice silvery color here. Sort of position this around until it does something I like. Maybe this sort of hoops. And it kind of hides our little bow detail that we did. Unless I bring it up another voxel, maybe that'll help. That's kind of cool. Got a little stud, maybe another little hoop of detail out there. And I'll add a little shine to it. A little shimmer. That'll do. I'll give that a save. And maybe the other one is just a couple of studs. Maybe a little stud there. Nah, I'll let that be. And there you have it. We've got a nice orc girl. Put a little swoosh in her hair like that, a little part of the hair. And you could even paint a little bit of detail down here if you wanted to. But I think with all that done, we can animate our little face here. I'm just going to add a frame by opening this menu here at the bottom. And if you've opened it for the first time, it may be open already for you by default. So you're seeing all the time frame 1 of 1. And pressing this just adds a frame. And you can't see anything happen yet, but I'll make a little something here. Maybe she like winks. Like that. There you go. Now she's got something in her eye. A little 2-frame animation. But while I have it on frame 2, and you can click here to scrub between frames, and this will be easier for me to show you in a second. I'm going to add a 3rd frame here just to show you, and I'm not going to keep any of this. There we go. He's really happy. Maybe even a little bit of blush. So happy. This orc is. And here I can grab, just clicking down, and I'm scrubbing through, and I can see every frame that we've made so far. I think I'm going to get rid of this frame in the middle because you don't wink before you blink. You don't wink into a blink like, I mean, do you ever blink one eye at a time? No, nobody does this that I know of. So I'm just going to press this little X, and now we're back down to 2 frames, fully open eyes, fully closed eyes. And that should be pretty good. It is technically a nice little blink animation, but I think we could add just a little bit more to it. If I just had like an extra frame of something like the eye opening back up while it's, you know. So you have the eyes fully open, eyes fully closed, and then sort of a half-lidded look as it comes back to fully open. So adding a new frame always copies the details of the frame before it, right? So adding this new frame is just both closed, and I don't want to repaint the eyes from scratch because then I'll always be like 1 voxel off inevitably. But if I just go back to frame 1, and over here, I'm just going to grab everything. I'm going to copy that. And right here, just going to back on frame 3, paste that back in. And now we have fully open, fully closed, fully open. Which is going to help us here in a minute because we're just going to paint this sort of half-lidded look, like returning to fully open eyes. Let's give that a play. There we go. Got a little bit of a blink, and the eyes kind of come back to where we are. Oh, Orcanus, welcome. Christmas tree is my object. Got an object? I want to see it. I'm going to control click here. Just get that a quick save. Because it's time to get into the spirit of the season. Said Christmas tree? Tree. By Orcanus. There are so many. It's so festive in here. I can't see one, but I'm not sure if I'm grabbing the right name or not. Orcanus. If your username is different here, then it might be hard for me to tell which one is yours. But these are all some lovely trees. Happy little trees. And I'll add it into our makerspace scene here in a little bit. Now we've got our animation made. I just wanted to make sure that I show off this one extra little thing that we can do before we move on, and that's frame duration. Currently, everything is playing at the same speed, but I don't want her to be blinking nonstop like this, like something's in her eye and she just gotta blink constantly to get rid of it. So I'm going to stop here on the open frame. I just want to make this last a lot longer. So if I press like 2000 or something, 2000 milliseconds, I believe. And I press play. Now you can see that there's a little bit of a pause before she does that to all frames of the animation. And I could press this and make each frame be like 2000 long, but I don't want to do that one. So just going over here, I might make these a little shorter. Let's see, the blink could maybe be like 150. 150. And I'll put like 5,000. I'm not going to wait for that. I'm sorry. But that is good. That means that we don't have to blink all the time. Ooh, Julia Plays made a turtle. I'm gonna go see if I see me a turtle. Under the latest objects here. Goodness. Okay. Not seeing a turtle, but I'm gonna search turtle. I love him. He's precious. Oh, it's like a coconut kind of shell to him too. Oh, that's so cute. I'll leave a little like on that. Oh, while I have you here, this is it. This is the button I was trying to find earlier. Thank you for setting this turtle to remixable. Now I can show people how to do this. If you want to click remix the voxel object. Now I've got a copy of Julia's precious turtle. And I don't know if I want to change it. It's just so perfect. I'll tell you what, I'll add an animation frame where I'll just make them like flap their little legs a little bit. I'm going to lift that one, add a new one. In this frame, I'm going to Control C and delete everything in frame 3 and paste that back in. And then we're back to start. Frame 4. In frame 4, I'm going to add a little bit here. There we go. Now he lifts one foot and then the other. I press play. Look at him. He's dancing. Little dancing turtle. Little dancing with an apostrophe because we're too cool to say consonants. All right. And I'm also going to leave this published, usable, and remixable. And there we go. It's our first remixed object here on the stream. Thank you, Julia, for this excellent turtle. Okay, now with all that saved, make sure that's saved. And I think we have demoed almost everything that we can do here in the Voxel Object Editor. Have I missed anything? I guess I haven't really showed that you can, if you want to, rotate things around in space or flip them. If I wanted the earrings here on the left to be on the right, I could just do that if I wanted to. Or, maybe it's an upside down emoji. And I think that's everything to show. Gone through everything in all of the menus and made this cool voxel object head. I'm going to save it. And before we're like, oh, well, now we need to get a game ready before we can pull it into our game and then show what it can do. And then we have to pull in the texture and then we have to, no. I'm just going to go right back over here, go to my profile. I'm going to go to our game session here. And be like, oh, if I want to wear it, I'm going to have to rig it and blah, 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 and not really. So we've got this default link here, and I'm just going to paste that right in there in case you want to join. I'm going to try to get everybody's voxel object that they mentioned in here as well. Not in this game. We're going to go sort by all with the voxel object, searching up, and I'm going to search for that turtle. Oh goodness, I think it was a little turtle. Lil. There we go. Got Julia's excellent turtle in here. And search for that, I wonder if the multiplier is still having some difficulty. That's okay. Search this Christmas tree. Oh, right, we don't know whose Christmas tree this is. But if you can say what your username is, then I can probably find that Christmas tree and bring it into our little game here. And now if we're going all the way back over here where we started, we have this voxel object head. But we don't need this one. We made a new one that is much cooler. And I could just pop this open and replace this head with my own. Bam, just like that. Or I could go over here, sort these objects by mine, and it will show me my little voxel object head. And just like that, it's game ready. It's ready to use. Like there's no retexturing, no importing. Drag and drop any object you've made in that voxel object editor. You can bring into your game. Easy peasy. Change the collision of it. I think I'll just leave that off for now. And here I've got this little hat crown. And I could show what that does right here, but I'm also going to show you where to find it. And just running into it, you can see I can wear it. and put it right on. And this is thanks to a script that's been placed on this object called dbb generic cosmetic. And you could go and find this object and drag it onto that and set it all up, and then you'd have to reset all the collision stuff, or you could just go over here to templates under featured. I'm looking for, there it is, there's a little crown hat. And drag that into the world, and it's ready to use. You can see the little VFX plays. It was working like it intended. And I'm going to take this voxel object and change it for our voxel object. And you see it has this kind of like rotation and scale happening to it. And that's going to be affected by the script over here. So I'm just going to drop this into here where we can see link offset, link rotation, link scale. I'm going to say 0, 0, 0, scale, I don't know. Set it to uniform, and I'm just going to say 1. I don't know how big that's going to be yet. Oh, good. This is, I mean, I'm not getting a big head about it, but I think it's a bit big. So let's just going to dial that back a little bit. I'm going to say 0.5, and taking a quick look at this, it's a little bit off to the left, and that's because this link offset here. I'm saying, Julia, hey, welcome. We all don our orc heads. I think I could just set this a little bit differently. Just going to offset the Y by like 2 or 3. Welcome, Orca. Feel free to drag in your object if you want to try to do what I'm doing, or anything you'd like to show off that you would also want to wear. That's kind of what we're trying to we become orc. Ooh. Oh, can I wear the turtle? Excellent. This is awesome. Oops, monkey at work. What are you up to out there? Okay. I think I can just make this a little bit bigger so it sort of stands out as something you're supposed to pick up a little bit more. And I'll just delete that original one. You can copy it, or if you'd like, just press Control and click, and there you go. There's a duplicate. You can duplicate this out as many times as you want and make your own version of it. I'm just going to set this right over here. So I have this nice space for us to experiment with. And let's go ahead and run a save so I don't lose track. I remember this whale. This whale is already in the Weekly Art Challenge Showcase. I remember you. Are you going to wear this whale on your head? Or maybe you could wear it in your hand too if you want to. Hold it like maybe it's a whale plush. So I'm going to drop this object down. Search orca. Is that what this object's called? Yep, just called orca. Searching orca by orca. I think that's the most orca an orca could be. And now we have this. And it should be, yep, a wearable orca. I'm going to go put my orc mascot head back on. And maybe I can switch this out to, let's say, hand. Let's say hand. Is that enough? Is that going to be good enough for it to? Nope. Okay. I think it has to be hand left. I'm not sure if it needs to say like underscore left or not. Try that. No, not that. Maybe it needs a capital letter. I'm going to try again here. Yes, excellent. So now we have multiple wearables on at the same time. We have like our orc head, we have our orca plushie, which, I could be holding it a little bit differently so that it doesn't go through my hand, but there we go. You have multiple wearable objects you can don. I just need to adjust something real quick. Be right back. Okie dokie. What's Julia up to over here? Wearing the wait a second. I like this. Hold on. I see you wearing it like a hat. I think we can do this. I hope you don't mind if I grab a copy of it. I'm just gonna copy this wearable turtle and maybe I can set it to, it won't be exactly the same, but I'm gonna set it to neck. Maybe I should have set the orc head to neck before I did this. I just want to make sure that I can layer these without replacing it. So I'm gonna go over here. I'm wearing it on my head. Okay. Even when I set it to neck, it is erasing the head object. Head, neck. Okay. Well, we tried. Label is hat. I wonder if it's in the label. No, I don't think it is. Well, that's all right. If I wanted to make this wear a hat, I could go back into the voxel object editor and edit a hat onto them that way. And that's okay. Julia's just having a sit down, getting comfortable. Pull up a chair, take a seat, and yeah, we've got our wearable objects. What else did I wanted to? Oh, hey, welcome, Boo Radley. Yeah, label matters. Only one item per unique label. That's what it is. Thank you, Boo Radley. Okay, so if I set this to like hat 2, could I get away with something like that? We're gonna find out. Hold on. Yes, yes. Hold on. I just need to set the offset a little bit more up. Okay, a little bit more up. Or maybe I can just set it to head now that we can layer that up. Perfect. I've got a turtle hat and an orca plush. Set it to 30. Maybe pull it forward by 1 so we don't have this little bit of Z fighting happening in the hair. Bam. I went to Disney World and all I got was this turtle hat and orca plushie. We've shown we can offset it, but we can also rotate this. So I'm just going to set these to like 0 out the rotation that's on there by default so that we can probably see where our orca plushie is hanging out. I don't know, maybe I'll just set that back. Because hand rotation exists in a funny way. Well, that's close. Yeah, I'm holding it upwards, sort of. There we go. I like that. And save it that way. And I just wanted to spend the last bit of time here showing that you can think about making your Global Game Jam game in full 3D, because this is, fully 3D game ready objects that we're making here in the Voxel Object Editor. But you can also use Big Bang to make like 2D. If you wanted to go the pixel art route, but use the voxel object editor to do that, you absolutely can. And I'm going to jump into the voxel object editor again here in a second while I show that off. Nice panda. But just in case you stop by here later, you can check out these games, and they are like 3D, 2.5D, or 2D. I'm sorry, Julia, I just wanted to make sure that this gets shown. But over here you have Jellyfish for 3D, and all of these are static scenes that if you take these teleporters to go to, you can see I've removed all the gameplay elements out of it. It's just a few camera setups, and if you'd like to remix these so that you can get an idea of how to set up your scene to be viewable in any of these kind of angles, here's a few starting points just for some inspiration. So feel free to come here and check out those scenes. Sorry about that, Julia. Just wanted to make sure I got that out there. Now you can have your giant pandas. Actually, let's just keep it a little bit clean, and we'll keep it in the scene here. We'll put them over here. A little panda corner. And save that. I've also brought out a couple of examples from like the 2D scene here that you can use as examples. Like everything in that game is laid out for you right here. Just a few, like what, 5 objects, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 objects makes up that entire 2D scene. And it's just flat drawn 2D objects. And we're going to go and make our own. We have one that we can use by default. I'm going to start with this just to show that you can use this for UI elements as well if you'd like. And this default or starter object comes with some animation on it already. And you can animate the states of your UI, or your 2D character even could have their animation frames be done within here instead of using the default skeletal stuff that we have. So I'm just going to drop these frames out so we're down to 1. And let's just blank slate. And now that I'm thinking of it, there was something I forgot to show off, but it's perfect for this situation. So I'm going to go start with pink. I don't know. I'm just really feeling pink today. And I'm going to turn on this button here. This is the work plane, which makes it easier for us while we're making anything in 2D, or if we're working in like a in a 3D space, but we need it to move like forwards, and we just want to draw like the pattern on a vehicle. Let me show that a little bit better. Let's imagine that we have a little pink car. He's got little wheels. There we are. Our little pink car. Sort of. There's you know, it's got windows. Easy. I could paint that, but if I wanted to, like, instead of starting out here, let's say I have no wheels on it. Like I could, but then if I add it down here, it kind of goes underneath the car and does something funny like that. I could turn the work plane on, and I'll use this to rotate our work plane, and it's adding anything we want out here. I want this to be right out here. So let's give our little example car, a couple of wheels. And as you'll see, it didn't fly out underneath the object. It stayed nice out here where we want it to be. And it worked with the mirror, which is nice. Just get rid of my little pink car. Turn this back on. I'm going to reset it back to that little default position where it's nice and lined up here with the object origin. I'm going to turn the ground plane off because we're not using that right now. So I'm going to imagine that we're making a 2D character. And if I were, I would probably put their feet on the ground level, sure exactly where I was, so that their collision just by default ends right here. But if you're making a character that then needs to, I don't know, like spin, jump, and needs to rotate in space, like if I had a little avatar, I just draw a quick little bit of what an avatar could be, a little default character person of my own. So we have this. If I wanted this character to spin, then I might want their origin to be right here, right? Because you would want them to spin in the air like this, right? But if you want to have their collision, you can offset the collision within the game, or you can just have them by default be grounded here. It's just a choice that you can make, is what I wanted to say. You can either ground them or center them off of here. Is probably one of two ways you can go about this. I'm turning our work plane on, our ground is off. And for now, I'm just going to, I don't know, what kind of sprite do I want to make? Something cute. Something cute and something I can make in 30 minutes. I don't know, we'll go back to pink. Pink equal cute for me. And I'll give them a little bit of a, maybe we'll start with something Kirby inspired. Can't go wrong with this nice rounded shape. Oh, I'll make a little slime monster. I'm sorry, you were too late with suggestions of flamingo and pig, but I want you to make both a flamingo and pig combo and follow along with us as we do this. A 2D flamingo pig combo. Because I've already been struck with the inspiration that I want to make a little slime creature. And if I do that, do I want to go with the classic green? I think I do. Yeah, I kind of do. Let's get a little bit more saturation going and this a little bit more neon. And dip the value down a little bit so I have room. I kind of just want to go for a middling green so that when I add the shine and the dip in value, it really makes a lot more sense. So if I go all the way back up in value, turn this off, and I paint like a little shine on our slime creature, it just pops a little bit better. Hello, Squid Kid. Welcome, welcome. Today we're just making a voxel object 2D creature. And if you'd like to join along, just go into an empty object and turn on the work plane and make your little 2D creature, and we'll add it to our workspace when we get to it. When we get our little creatures back into the game. So I'm just going to make a couple of eyes on it. There we go. A little bit of slime creature. Maybe it's happy. Tell you what, I like that, but it needs to be a little bit more upward. There we go. Maybe not so wide. Kind of like that, a little girlish slime. I'm going to lift this up and give them like a little bit of a border. Maybe I want to take a kind of cartoony approach to my slime critter. I'm not sure if I want it to be that rounded along the bottom because I want them to be kind of grounded. So I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm going to add this a little bit of extra border so that it helps sell the illusion that yes, it's sort of rounded on the bottom, but it's sitting on a surface. And this is a bit of a too bright of a sheen so that it doesn't really read as that color anymore. So I'm going to just add a lot more to this bit of shine. That's a little bit too much of no curve here. Maybe I'll lift that back away, giving to and taking from, and then I'll give a little bit more of a wet shine just along the corner. That could do. You can give and take as much as you want to this. I think I'll go with that little shine color, maybe for the little irises. Yeah. You know, a little shine is needed here. And I'll add a couple of little antennae. I don't know why. Just to give them a little something extra going on. There we go. And maybe a little couple of hands that hang out down here. They sort of float. This will help us when we're animating to kind of add a little bit of action to what they're doing. It kind of helps just to have at least a limb to operate. It's hard to sell that our character will be holding something if ever they have to pick something up. So I'm just going to drop a little bit of shine and shadow onto here. And there we go. Do I want this to be bordered? Yeah, it's cute. Yeah, I do. There. Do I want it to have a shadow? It's a bit much. Don't know if I want this shadow to go all the way out to the edge. Having that little bit of rim lighting can kind of help sell that you can see through this item a little bit. But I also don't want it to be way up against the mouth, making it very uncomfortable to show expression on that. I'm not sure how I'll go about this part yet. Maybe I can add a little bit of a value in between this and this. Where it's, there we go. I like that. Okay, so we have like our outline line and then our Yeah, okay. 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 All right. All right, I'm starting to see it now. Bringing that back out to the edge. And just if you haven't animated something before, I just want to throw this out there. Whatever you make for your first animations, don't make it the don't make it your magnum opus before you even animate the thing. And I say this just to keep you from like making all of these little bits and pieces that are going to be like very difficult to make move. So when you do a simple little thing like this, it just makes it so that you only have to animate 2 or 3 little ball shapes. And if you've animated anything at all or looked up animation tutorials, you've seen the bouncing ball, then as long as you've done the bouncing ball exercise, you can animate this character. Easy peasy. Let me see. This name should be 2D slime character. You can add a little description of it, like a cute green, comma, 2D, comma. I don't know. Do I want to be graded on my grammar right now? And 2D line creature. Orkina says, can I hop in? Yes, here in just a moment. If you'd like to go ahead and make your voxel object 2D creature and maybe add an animation frame or two, you can do that. But we are not in the makerspace here in just at the moment. When we're done, we'll hop back in and then we'll pull everybody's animated objects in and show them off to each other. Okay, so up here, I just needed this animation. Why do I keep closing it? All right, I'm going to turn this frame duration down. Back down to like, I don't know, 150 seems good. And we'll start with a little idle. Adding a new frame. And I didn't really need this to be. Oh my gosh, that's kind of cute though. I didn't need this to be the symmetry to be on the single voxel like I did. But now I kind of want to do that. So before we animate, let me just fix that real quick. Just going to pull this one voxel wider this way and this way. There's a reason I'm doing this. Just to, oh goodness. Cute. It doesn't need to be cat-like though. Okay. Turn the mirror back off and I'll just do the one little extension. In case I reset my mirror and get confused later. Like that, basically. All right. Go to frame 1 and delete that. And now we're back on frame 1 of 1. Adding a new one. I'm going to squish our ball down just by 1, and maybe I'll make these and go down a little bit too. Do I want the hands as well to go down? I don't know, we'll see yet. And maybe I'll make them go from here. I'm just going to grab this and pull it outwards with the selection tool and add a little more here and here. Yeah, maybe I'll either do it this way or that. Oh, I forgot that my little shadow's got to be like that. Nah, I think that those hands have to come outward. Probably like that. And I'm going to make this little part of the face come down a little bit more, as if it's a secondary animation to the rest of the body. So the things of this creature that will be secondary to animate will be the hands, these antennae, and probably the face. And that means whatever the main shape of our object does, it's animating first, and everything else, the antenna, the eyes, the hands, they are being animated in reaction to that. Orkins, we will be in the game in just a little bit, but we're not there yet. I think I have it on my clipboard, but I'll go ahead and post the link so you can be in the Makerspace game until we are ready to go. But you cannot be in a multiplayer voxel object editing. Only in a voxel object, not voxel object, only in a game. You can be a multiplayer in a game. But it's just me in this little room. Just me and my little slime creature. All right, I'm just going to make these come down by one more. Maybe the whole thing even. I'm going to add this twice so that it's sort of the snap frame that everything springs back up from. So everything crunches down the most here, squishes down and outward. And then we're going to copy this frame, going back to frame 1. So on frame 3, we're going to add, and on frame 4, and delete everything and paste in our frame here. And maybe on frame 5, we'll probably change frame 4 here in a second, but on frame 5, we're going to stretch our bulb upwards a little bit, like it's bouncing back. To fix that little piece there. And maybe I'll grab the hands and move them up again. And let's just see where we are in our animation. So on the snap up, for sure, this can come inward. So like we're making a tiny circle. I guess what I'm trying to say is this should be doing this in our animation. So it's going down, down, and up and in, down, and probably outwards. So I'm just looking at this. So it's not really making the perfect circle that I'm hoping for. We can those down and out. down and in, up straight. Maybe this could be up in, and then up out. Let's try that. It's making the circle, but it's not really responding to the main body. So from here, we can just add a little bit of stretch to that, like it's snapping back by making things go stronger up or down. Probably like this. And see how that sort of added a little bit more emphasis? Gosh, it's been a while since I've animated. Huh. Go ahead and save our work. And I think on this frame, I'm going to squash here too. Let's see how that does. So it's regular, squish, squishing down, stretching back up. And I think on this one, we can really stretch those eyes a little bit more. Maybe that'll be all it needs. There we go. See, it's still in 3D space. We have our 2D character. And we can save this object out where every copy of this object could be a different animation, or we could use the animation frames here. And this would be with scripted behaviors, such that you could see, I think in the combat example would be a good reference here, and I will drop a link to that. But it has voxel objects that you could then set animations on that happen when different actions happen in the game, where you can say here, like the first 5 frames are idle, the next 5 frames, and the same object will be like the attack. Just something that you can do. And I'm just going to, with our object saved, here I'm going to jump back into our game. Hello, Squid Kid. Hello, Orca. Julia's got her little panda corner over here. Hey, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I'm going to edit our game here, and now everybody should be able to edit. So if you have a voxel object that you've made, feel free to drag it in now. I'm just going to go into mine here, pull in our little 2D slime character. And I'm going to set this up so I can save it while it's up there. Oh, hey. Oh, hello. Oh, that's so cool. It's turning infected. Ooh. Oh, you can kind of watch it spreading, and then like eventually this kind of crack forms across the surface. That's really cool. All right, tell you what, I'll set these over here on this little work table. And these might be more useful to us here tomorrow if you're joining. I think, is that the plan? That someone, I think, is making, on Wednesday, they're doing the character jam, learn to make a custom player controller. So now that you've gone and made your 2D voxel object characters, you have something that you can use both in 3D if you want, like our little head creature here, or in 2D if you'd rather. You can make a custom 2 or 3D voxel object player. Oh, you made the flamingo. Oh, cool, cool. Wait, I want to see it. I want to see it. Oh, that's cool. And they do the little head bob. Oh, I love that. I'm saving this right now. These are so great. And you made that right now? Oh my gosh. That's pretty good. Oh, I love little feather details. Okay, okay, where are we gonna display this one with? Up here. I think this is gonna pop against the little green table here. There we are. This is awesome. And I wonder if if this can also attach to, no, it's looking for a skeletal thing. That's fair. Okay, sorry, I was getting a little ahead of myself. I thought, oh, maybe I can make the 2D voxel object critters wear the hats. But no, what it's doing when it's using this is that it's actually using the skeletal object here to determine where the wearable should be. Which that's fair. That's to be expected. Orca, this is a 3D object. So I'm going to put this one over here with our 3D object section where it can live and stay and be. And I think the last thing I might do here is go ahead and find that example that I was mentioning earlier with the, oh goodness, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to close the window. Okay, just a second. I'm going to bring that back. Big bang. To go into Streamlabs OBS and window capture. This is Chrome. Nope, it's looking for something that doesn't exist anymore. Oh goodness, I can't get it to find it. That's so weird. Okay, hold on. Maybe if I can bring it back to that page, it'll see it again. Chrome. Jam for streamers. That's so weird. I can't see it. There we go. Got you. Goodness. Didn't mean to lose that. I wanted to go over here to the front page, not close the whole window out, and find it might be in the starter game list. If I go into build a game, is it there? Is it in the combat kit? Exactly. This is the starter game that you might consider looking for if you have creatures in your games like this guy, little guy over here, who is a voxel object. Goodness, there we go. This voxel object critter has things like enemy behavior, health, and I think that there is somewhere on here, voxel object animation, where you can assign animation IDs, like what we were saying earlier, where the first 5 frames of this creature is the object idle, and the next one could then be running or falling, start frames 1 and 5. So these are the scripts that you might want to use, and this is a good starter game to pick that you can open up and press stop and see these examples in action. You can also come over here. I believe, are the enemies also over here? No, well, they're in the field. They're in the field, and you can see how they act in action and all the controllers that are being used to make that work are all right here, ready for you to pop open and use as a starter game. And with all that said, I think we've made quite a lot of art today. We made a 2D object, a 3D object, and we've worn them. We've shown them as game ready and animated them and got real familiar with the voxel object editor. And just wanted to leave us on this little orthographic frogs. I think this is the only thing I didn't display, but I might not have time to actually set up a 2.5D scene. But these are all little 2.5D. And by that, I really mean it's just a 3D object in a flattened FOV camera. So here on the head-on camera, you can see that the FOV has just been brought down to 1. And this is how you're getting that that look. Oh, this is actually being done with the polar camera here. So default FOV. So you can see if I start to actually pull it out, the camera, not only is it zooming out a lot, but you're getting more perspective back. So as the default FOV is like 45. And now I can see everything in 3D again. If I go back into the camera and just set that FOV back down to 1, then everything is nice and flat. But you can still, if you want to, you can decide that you want this to be 2.5D, or maybe you want them to face completely head on all the time, or from the side, or however you'd like. Just know that you have options if you'd like to explore different setups outside of just 3D with your voxel object creations and how you decide to structure your games here on Big Bang. There's a lot of tools in the toolbox for you to use, but you're also welcome to visit us over on Discord at Discord or .bigbang.com/Discord, or in the QR code that you may have seen popping up just intermittently. And don't forget, right here you'll see now, register at our Jam site over on Global Game Jam. We are actually hosting a online-only site, so if you'd like to register there, and when the Game Jam goes live over in January, then you can take place there and submit your entries, and they will then be featured in our Global Game Jam hub, which is yet to be unveiled, but will be a giant hub space where we display and play all of the objects that are made, or all of the games that are made using Big Bang for the 2024 Global Game Jam. I want to thank you all for joining us, and I hope you have an artful rest of your day. And thank you for tuning in. I hope you have an excellent rest of your day.